It is Saturday, March 25th. I'm again 1 day late on this one. No real good excuse this time. I guess I was just distracted. I was trying to make time for this yesterday, and I think that time was just creeping on. Yeah, updates. So this past week was on call for me for work, so a little bit busier than a normal week, I would say. The on-call part was actually not so bad. It's just that I had a couple of times like I have to be up at 6 a.m. and then able to respond to stuff, and usually it's not bad because it's a low volume, but I did have a couple of times this week at almost exactly 6 a.m. when I needed to start. Like I was getting paged, so that was a little bit annoying. I mean, it's part of the job, so it is what it is. But it would have been nice if they could have waited until I was a little bit more awake. Side effect of that is that I felt like just a little bit more run down through the week, even though it was only a couple of times. So anyway, that's just it is what it is. Let's see. Okay, meal coach wise, definitely lots of awesome progress. Other engineer has kind of landed his features right onto our main branch, so really happy about that. It looks pretty cool. I was able to get some of my stuff landed as well, so I was working on this is it kind of seems like it's going to be it seems simple, but an ongoing challenge will be units. And what I mean by that is like how we how we display units of foods in ways that people are happy with. Um, just to give you an example, like we have situations where when you want to sort of divide up foods or divide up recipes and things like that, the some of the ingredients are very easy to divide. So if you had a cup of flour, just I'm making this up off the top of my head. If you had a cup of flour, and we cut it in half, that could be half a cup. And a cup is 250 milliliters if you're talking about water, just because you have to factor in density here. So, half a cup is 125 milliliters. Cool. Okay. Those numbers are all happy. They feel okay. But if we needed a third of a cup, okay, we can still show a fraction that's a third. Now the milliliters part starts to get a little bit kind of crappy to look at. And if you had to start dividing it more and more, the numbers can get a little bit less ideal. Now, not so bad for things that are like powder or liquids. Like we're used to at some point. Well, I can't speak for everyone, I guess, but I feel like it's more common to at some point get to a point where like talking about milliliters is okay, and like really if you're talking about fractions of a milliliter, it's we're not when you're preparing food, it's kind of like that's a little bit extreme, so we don't have to worry too much about that. But the other situations that get a little bit more weird are when we talk about things that don't really make sense to make into fractions. So things like eggs. eggs eggs are the bane of my existence at this point, but yeah, like if we had to say like half an egg, like okay, you truly can crack an egg and take half of it, but it's crappy. And then of course with an egg we can measure it in grams as well. But if I said 30 grams of an egg, like that's awful. Like no, it's a crappy experience. So being able to do this in a cohesive way that are in the user's preferred units, like so metric, imperial, or if they don't care, like when we're looking at recipes, can we take the units that were defined from the author on that recipe, that kind of thing, um, showing that kind of stuff. But we're talking about like the system is designed to be extensible to arguably like millions of recipes and millions of food items. So it's not it's just not trivial. And we think that that's like a big challenge for improving usability. So I think definitely made some progress, but what's been interesting too is like we've been at this for a little while now, and we don't have we've tried it with trialed with users on our previous iteration, and we're kind of back to the drawing board. So we're already like I'm seeing stuff that I designed early on where I'm like I kind of against my better judgment was like, oh, I'm gonna code things a certain way. So this example was like, I wanted to do some server side rendering, to the point where I would store a snapshot of some data with like basically rendered, or like rendered might be a bit of a strong word. I wanted to use like beautified, like pretty user friendly information in it. And when you start doing that kind of stuff, you lose data resolution. And against my better judgment, I was like, you know what, though, when it's stored in this format, um, it's going to be in a document database. We can pull it up super fast. It's already ready to go for the user. But as we're building out these other features and refactoring, I'm realizing like I should have just stuck with my with what my gut told me, which is like store data with as much resolution as you can, because at some point you're probably going to want to transform it. And that's exactly what's happening. So all of the meal plans, I mean, and we don't have real users, it's been just trialing. All of the meal plans so far have basically been storing like these beautified units and quantities, and I need to kind of just change the whole fundamental like storage mechanism to not do that, which is what it should have been in the first place. Like I said, I'm kind of kicking my own ass, but that's okay. Um, I thought maybe I was onto something clever in this particular case, but this is why we try things and adjust. So doing that, and so sorry, I should clarify. I landed some stuff for improving the units, but now I'm going through the code base and trying to rip out some of this stuff that was like making pretty quantities and storing them, because we don't need that. We should basically wait for the client side to request that information, and we can do it like that. Um, so I just have a lot of code to blow away, and that's not. It's actually going pretty well. I think I'm at the point where I've made the adjustments almost everywhere in the code base on the back end, I should clarify, except for I want to see, because I haven't practiced this a lot, I want to see if I can do some versioning of the schema for our document store so that I can try and support the previous stored meal plans. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. If I can't, it doesn't actually matter because it's all like test dummy data. Um, but I'd like to try because I think it will be a good experiment. So that's sort of on my plate next. And we have a meeting that's coming up with a couple other folks that are building something. I think I mentioned this before. That meeting's been pushed just a little bit, just to some business conflicts, which is okay. It's like we all have full-time jobs in real life on top of all of this, so just gonna kind of realign on that for timing. But still excited about that coming up. But I think it's mostly Meal Coach. Um, what else? Content wise, yeah, like because I was sick for a little bit, I before that I really got ahead on my content. I was out almost a month of having three full length videos a week prepared. So I was in a really good spot, and I think that now I'm like, oh crap, I have to really catch back up. I still have a handful that are queued up. I have one or two that I need to edit. I've already not recorded it, and I think I just have to be a little bit more aware that like I'm not I don't have that cushion anymore of having like almost a full month. I actually have to like make sure that like even this weekend I have to get some content recorded just so I can keep that pipeline going. So anyway, not a problem. It's just like um it's a journey, right? So it's been really interesting to be in that position where it's totally comfortable to be like I don't have to rush. And then I got sick, so it's perfect. It's a good example of being like, hey, look, you did all the work ahead of time and you're not screwed. So I'd like to do that again. Um, yeah, so I got to catch up on that. I don't think there's too much else to add there. Oh, we finally, like, again, when people finally start watching these videos, I just hit 300 subscribers on YouTube, so that's really cool. I'm excited about that. Um, TikTok started to pick up a little bit more because TikTok was ahead of YouTube for followers for a while, and then the growth was kind of like pretty flat. But I've had a lot of and I'm happy about this. I've had a lot of really good interactions from some of the more like reaction type videos I've posted where I'm disagreeing or agreeing with people's other content creators, and some of that makes people feel polarized, right? Because I'm already reacting, I'm going to have a strong opinion, and then people are, of course, if they agree with it very strongly, then they might chime in. If they disagree very strongly, then they're going to comment and say, "Hey Nick, I think you're stupid, and here's why." And then I can create more content from it. So it's kind of cool. But that stuff's worked quite well. So TikTok has started to catch back up to YouTube. Um, the growth is slow. Like it's really challenging. I Before all of this, I ran a social media account for I wanted to bring this up today too. I'm into modified cars. So like for example, I don't have a garage. So like in my office, I have parts of my car in here because it's crappy outside and I need somewhere to work on some things. And now that the weather's going to get better, this can leave. So I like modified cars, but for a long time, sort of in between when I was creating software engineering content, literally 10 years ago, somewhere in there, probably 2015, I actually was consistently making modified car related content. So I was able to get a Instagram account up over 10,000 followers. I never put the time into YouTube, but the reality is like I just had to keep consistently posting every single day. So I feel like that content though is I would like to imagine that this content that I'm creating for Dev Leader is like significantly more valuable, like it's educational, people can learn from it. So I would like to think that more people would want to gravitate towards that, but I think that when you have like it's almost like a shock factor thing where it's like a modified car, like my car was purple. Purple with a really big wing on the back of it and like it's kind of over the top. So I think posting content like that is it's eye-catching, like it makes people stop. So I don't um I feel like I'm a pretty boring guy and I'm talking about a topic that's arguably pretty boring, right? Like I don't know a ton of software engineers that are like, extremely outspoken and total extroverts and stuff. I'm certainly not. So I just need to find ways to be um, a little bit more eye catching, I think, and that should help with the growth. But the reality is, I'm gonna be consistent. I think last night, or sorry, yesterday in particular, was one of the days where I don't know if I've had this issue yet. I think I posted like a short video every single day so far this year. And for me, that's awesome because I do it on, with the car stuff, I was doing it to Instagram. Now I'm doing it to YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and then using automation to post to Tumblr, Twitter. I manually post to LinkedIn. I reshare, like, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. So it's a lot more work now. And before, I would have photographers take pictures of my car and I would come up with a small caption and just post it. It's brain dead work for me. This stuff is like I need to be able to educate. So all of that to say that this is challenging. It's challenging, and I want to make sure that I'm consistent. But yesterday was the first time I think where first time this year where I almost missed posting. And actually, when it was like 11 o'clock or something, I got my YouTube short together, but then my password, I forgot that I had reset it during the week, so files weren't syncing, and I couldn't figure out how to get my stuff posted to TikTok or Instagram until like 1 in the morning or something. So that was like I technically missed that day, but I was still within a 24-hour window, so I won't beat myself up too much. But yeah, we'll stay at it. I have a webinar tomorrow, so that's going to be cool. That's going to be on composition and inheritance in C sharp, just for intro level stuff. And yeah, really this weekend I'm going to be trying to come up with kind of reviewing my content strategy. I need to come up with some more advanced topics because I think I'm out right now. Um, and yeah, and then really kind of like the video strategy as well, right? Because like when I say content, I like I like thinking about some of my content that I can write about and make videos about. So it's blogs and videos. I'm gonna have to try and balance that. So yeah, I'm gonna spend time this weekend to kind of build that strategy out. But I think that's probably it. I might start when the seasons are getting a little bit warmer. I might sprinkle in some more modified car stuff because I like these to be more like this is me. If you want to know about me, and all the other videos and stuff on YouTube, like that's the content I create. So I'll sprinkle more of that in. Um, Diablo 4 beta open beta is this weekend. Last weekend was the private one. So I'll be doing that a little bit. But now that I've kind of seen what they had to offer, I don't need to like waste tons of time. I'll just play a little bit. So anyway, that's it. It's already over 16 minutes here. So thanks so much for all of your support. Hopefully find these kind of interesting to see what's going on behind the scenes. I think I'm getting allergies and not sick. I'm really hoping, so we'll see. But again, thank you, and I will see you next week, and take care.